All right, is Morgan Township's meeting, February 20th, 2018. And if I could get a roll call, please.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
All present.
Okay. I get a motion for approve the minutes.
Tom Brucker, I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Trustee minutes from February 13th, 2018 as written. Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Motion to approve the warrants.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the payments from February 14th, 2018 to February 20th, 2018. Payment 133-2018 through 163-2018 and 165-2018. Warrant number 8383 through, that's it, 8389, for a total of $35,915.88.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. We have anybody from the audience that's got anything for tonight? No. All right. Mr. Marshall.
All right. I have these alphabetical tonight for some reason. So the Hidden Falls Private Road Development. I have been searching for the original PRD application in the office, but I've yet to find it. However, I have received an email from Eric Pottinger, Butler County Development, concerning the PRD, and have spoken to him. It seems that Mr. House has filed for a building permit on the home he is building for himself in the PRD. And in searching that part of it, number 3, I have found the application for his home, but I still have not found the original application for the PRD. However, Mr. Pottinger supplied me with a email copy of that. It is clearly signed by Mr. Teets, the former zoning administrator, with the approved box checked. So this then sets up that I must go and schedule a pre-construction meeting with Mr. House, and I'm going to be researching on what it is exactly we discuss within that meeting. Jeff, I will also need you to be with that, because part of that is the fire department discussion as well. Item B, we'll start with the nuisance property complaints that you have asked me to begin to look at. They're growing by the day. First of all, 1714 Bell Road. The owner is Tim Trader. Phone numbers listed there, and everything else. I won't put them in. They will be into record, but they won't be read here at the moment.
That's the little red car, correct?
That's the little red car. My understanding from the people who are renovating the house next door at 1724 Bell Road, that even the red Chevrolet that is sitting in the pictures that you saw at the last meeting is inoperable as well. Truck. And that there is really no one living in the house at this time. Mr. Trader had it rented, but apparently they were they were having insufficient funds and had moved out, and the house is not being occupied at this time. As to 5027 Alert New London Road, the incidence of the 2 junk cars in the front yard, the owner is Paul Simpson, and the phone number is listed there for you to make contact with. A new one arrived this week in the mail. I received an anonymous letter through the U.S. mail asking and stating, let me read the letter basically. It's a very short one. It's not all that heavy to go through. to 3141 Chapel Road, Box 2, Okeana, Ohio. This letter is in regards to a residence in the 5000 block of Lehigh Road, close to Bell Road. The property has multiple junk cars in the yard in addition to 2 large dogs. The house is gutted, so no one is currently living there. I live in the vicinity of this property, and it is an eyesore, not to mention the constant barking from the dogs. Any help you could provide in getting this property cleaned up would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Morgan Township resident.
Well, here's one thing on this, and I'm gonna check on it, but I do believe we have to have a name, because if we go after them, they have to be able to be known who the accuser is.
Okay,
I will double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that is law.
all right. I have understood from, again, this particular person, Judy Payne, and I will mention that again. She brought up the Lehigh Road too as well, while I had a meeting with her today.
Is that the second house from the corner, Bill, the gray house?
No, it's about the third to fourth house on the right as you pass Bell going toward Ross.
It's a two-story?
No,
No?
single
Because-
story.
Is that the
Okay,
one that
the
had
two-story,
the lawnmower
yeah,
that hanging in the tree the one time?
2 campers along the side of the house.
I think
and
they're
about-
living in that too while they're renovating.
I think they are living in the camp. I was going to mention beyond this, okay? I was just beginning the research. Jeff and I drove by the property yesterday. The owner of record, and I won't mention it in this particular case, you see is listed in the report. I've also received off-the-record information that the house is not being lived in. And it does look like that perhaps that the trailer or the little camper is being used on a regular basis. Also, that a zoning certificate was issued for renovation approximately about 3 years ago, and I didn't have the time today to actually pull that. And I will be researching that to report back on it, okay? But it is very clear that the junk vehicles that are there are inoperable, and possibly even more behind the house, and everything, and that the inside of the house, because you can see through one of the bedroom windows to the other side of the building, you can see studs that are exposed. That is my report on 5265 Lehigh Road. 5026 Alert, New London. I received an email from Miss Kathy Kirby of 5040 Alert, New London. She had 3 issues in which she was concerned about the property at 5026 Alert, New London. One of the issues is a zoning issue. She also attached several pictures with this email, okay, which I have yet to print out because I just began working on this. I contacted Ms. Kirby on the 17th, just after I received the email. And then yesterday, on the 19th, I went to her home to view the issues, along with Mr. Kolb, who also met with her. Okay? And Mr. Kolb can add his observations in with this. One of the 3 issues that she has written about is a zoning issue, and I will be investigating that later in March. It concerns an attachment to 5026 Alert, New London that just seems like it was put up with no certificate or anything else, and it looks a very temporary position, a very temporary piece of a detachment that wouldn't meet any zoning regulations to begin with. The property, Ms. Kirby has asked if a permit to add, as she asked me in the email, if there was a permit to add this onto her onto the home at 5026. At this point in time, I do not find any certificate of approval for anything to be added to that particular address. And as you can see, I've listed the owner of record in the report. and I have no phone number at this time for that. As of today, I've received complaints on 2 more properties on Bell Road, and research for these will begin next week. Our meeting for the combined zoning and BZA is Wednesday, February the 28th. It is our second meeting. It will be a working meeting. The public is invited and welcome to attend all of the meetings of either the zoning or the BZA. And then the last thing I bring up is the letter sent to neighbor dated February the 13th, 2018. I received a copy from John Payne, whom I met with this afternoon to discuss the letter and his concerns over the content of it. And John will be attending tomorrow's meeting. John's major concern was the fact that we were probably going to be doing away with farming here in Morgan Township, or that we were in some way going to be doing away with the entire zoning regulations. I did speak very bluntly, saying that is not our objective. Our objective is to work and rework and revise the zoning so that it fits today's world here in Morgan Township. If there are any other questions at this
Just
time?
to add on that, I mean, I got it under my report, but I received a call from John Payne on Friday evening when he received the letter, and he was very upset. He was under the impression that it was sent by the Board of Trustees and signed by the Board of Trustees, so I went to his house to look at the letter, and he went ahead and made a copy for me. And then yesterday, last night, I received another letter similar in content. It's a little different, but from somebody on Bell Road that had nothing to do with this. I'll go ahead and read it. It says, February 13th, 2018, Dear Neighbor, in October of 2014, you became involved in a zoning variance hearing. This is the letter that John Payne received. You became involved in a zoning variance hearing at the Township Administration Building. The variance was denied, and your neighbor who wanted to put a mechanic's garage at his house had to put his business in Shandon. There are now 15 to 20 cars and trucks at his business waiting to be repaired. The trustees of Morgan Township are now in the process of changing the zoning regulations to allow his and other businesses anywhere in the township. They are holding joint meetings with the Township Zoning Commission each month to change the business rules. It is important that you become involved. Please attend these meetings. The small business folks certainly are there. The next zoning commission meeting is Wednesday, February 21st, 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Township Administration Building, 3141 Chapel Road. Trustee meetings are the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. at the Township Administration Building, 3141 Chapel Road. Sincerely, concerned neighbors. The letter I received from the resident on Bell Road said it was dated February 14th, 2018. Dear neighbor, in October of 2014, there was a zoning variance hearing at the Township Administration Building. The variance to put a mechanic's garage at the applicant's house was denied, and the requester of the variance had to put his business in Shandon. There are now 12 or 20 cars and trucks at his business waiting to be repaired. The trustees of Morgan Township are in the process of changing the zoning regulations to allow his and other businesses anywhere in the township. Incidentally, there were 4 open positions on the 2 zoning boards, and all 4 positions were filled by the trustees with owners of small businesses in the township, one of which was the business owner mentioned at the beginning of this letter. The trustees have all the players in place now to change the zoning regulations to allow businesses anywhere in the township. The trustees are holding joint meetings with the Township Zoning Commission each month to change the business rules. It is important that every resident become involved. Please attend these meetings. The small business folks certainly are. The next Zoning Commission meeting is Wednesday, February 21st at 7 p.m. at the Township Administration Building, 3141 Chapel Road. Trustee meetings are the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. at the Township Administration Building, 3141 Chapel Road. Sincerely, Concerned Neighbors.
So did that go out on
I
a
have-
wide distribution?
I have no
or
idea.
How did that get circulated? Do we know anything about that?
No, it was not, it was the envelope that I saw from John Payne was like a business type envelope, just a white envelope. And it had a printed label off of like a Avery printer, label, just print off your print. your
So
printer off your
no
computer.
postage, it was not a post, it was like just put out into people's mailboxes?
No, it was posted,
Oh.
it was mailed.
John's was posted.
The ones from today were not posted.
Oh, you got one today?
I didn't get one, but they were replaced up and down Curry Lane. I've been receiving phone calls pretty much since I got home from work today that everybody on Kearney Lane got one because my sister got one.
They just got them today.
Yeah.
Well, these were mailed.
But these weren't mailed, they were just put
Right,
in people's
okay, these were
mailboxes.
mailed. He received his on Friday, John Payne, and the other gentleman I talked to last night said he got it Saturday. So, it is what it is. Like Dale said, everything is above board, all meetings are open to the public, and if people are concerned, they're invited to come. Not only to those meetings, but every township meeting that we have. Okay. That kind of-
All right, Mr. Brim. Okay. Mr. Galloway.
Okay, I will do the administrator part first. That report will be in your front left, or I'm sorry, front right. The first one will be we did some research. Chris Brucker, I'll have him up here as well to do some research on the electronic door locking systems with a key fob for Station 141. Chris checked into the Trilogy wireless system, the 5-door locks with 50 key fobs, 1 alarm lock getaway system, and I'll let him explain that. And the quote is in your left-hand side. That is $6,066.10. Behind that, and Chris, if you want to come up here and explain, the next page below it is the benefits of wireless versus non-wireless and the advantages, and I will let Chris explain that before I go further detail.
So the advantage of a wireless system is that you don't have to take a laptop and a cable around to each door lock and code or program in all the codes and the access. So if you add any kind of personnel with the wireless system, it's centrally managed. So all the locks report to this gateway. If you flip to the second page on the quote, there's a table there. The second piece is the gateway piece, which it interfaces with our existing computer network so that the computers inside the station can talk to that controller, and then we get all of our audit logs and set up any levels of access through that system. It's a web-based system, and it talks directly to that controller. So what that allows us to do is all the data is pulled up from the locks into that gateway, stored in that gateway, and then we can run reports, back as far as we want to go. The wired system that we were originally looking at, you would have to go to each door, pull the logs, and then aggregate it, in Excel or something like that at a later date. So I know it is more expensive than the existing system or the system that we were looking at. But I think in the long run, from a maintenance and an onboarding, offboarding standpoint, it should be better in the overall grand scheme of things. And if we ever decide to do these electronic locks in another township building, it can talk to that same controller, so we get one centralized system if you even were to have it in different buildings.
It's the capacity that one controller could handle, how many locks?
one controller can handle 64 locks, but you have to be within 175 feet of that controller. So if you were to, say, for example, put it in this building, you would need a controller for this building, but the two controllers talk together. So you could connect to one single place, and it disperses the access in multiple areas.
The fob is the only way to access entry.
Or
correct?
you can have a door code.
Well, no, I think that's what you were trying to get away from,
We
right?
have no door code, it's only be fobs. That's what we're
Right.
trying to get away
The
from.
only time I would do that is if I had to let a vendor in or somebody, I could do it from anywhere, I could give them a one-time door code. If for some reason no one was there or someone's locked out, I could do it from my house, I could do it from anywhere, and that's the real advantage for me since I'm gonna be managing the system, is I don't really wanna run around, I have enough laptops and running around, I would like to manage it from a computer anywhere I am. If I need to give somebody one time, or I need to deactivate somebody quickly, do it 24/7, 365.
That was the other concern, is if we terminate somebody or have somebody resign, you know, immediately and we suspect something, we can, by a laptop, shut them off, shut that key fob off right then and now without having to go to each door with a laptop and plug in to deactivate his key fob that way, so.
Okay.
So the difference is like 1,300?
It is, so you have in the report there, you'll have the difference between the system we looked at originally with the non-wireless versus the wireless is $1,337.65. And again, that, because we're blending and meshing it into the EMS billing and the Ohio pharmacy laws with the having two secure things for the narcotics and the drugs, we're gonna pay that out of the fund 2281, which is the EMS billing account, so that we already have that earmarked because it collaborates with our pharmacy board to have two means of lockable access.
Trackable, lockable, and this would be the.
Yes, yeah.
And
The
they
How many
cameras
locks
and
are you
the
talking?
Five.
5?
So we're gonna do the two outside doors because in wintertime right now, you know, that's the way to get into the station. In the spring, summer, and fall, I'm all about showing being visible, have those doors up, so we're open for business during the day. So then the three interior doors, getting into the kitchen, the hallway, and then upstairs where the actual drugs are kept, those three doors will also have the key fob locks.
What about the side door?
That door on the front of the field, we keep that thing permanently locked because nobody uses that door.
It's
And
got a key, it doesn't have a combination?
It has a key, nothing, no combination, nothing on it. And that door, if I had, and the issue is gonna be is, if the expansion goes through, that door is gone anyway, and that's gonna be the hallway. And then what we will do with the expansion is there's gonna be another door. Over the expansion, will be another means of egress, which we will add one onto that door at a later date. So, yeah.
That's the other piece to this too. You can add an additional lock in and say, I want to clone the same level of access as this other door, and it's done. So all the Trilogy locks kind of have that motto of it's ready to go in an hour. I assume you could program each one of those doors manually in an hour, but at least, you know, once you build the programming in and the access in for one door, you can easily duplicate it to the other locks.
And this is us installing it, correct?
Yes.
Is that,
And that would be you buying it.
Yeah, so we looked at other vendors, you know, Amazon and other places online, and I can go through a wholesaler and buy the locks, and I'm just gonna sell them to the township at my cost. You know, I'm not here to make any kind of money or anything off this. I just wanted to provide a good solution that I think's better in the long term for the township, so.
This is basically what I was talking about, cause it's much better, it's higher tech, and it's more security, and
I just do it anywhere.
if we got the drugs, I'm for that.
Well, it also provides a level of protection for the staff that I think is, at this time necessary.
Yes.
Including persons if you can.
Yep.
So you ready for this now, chief?
I am. If you want to make a motion, absolutely.
Okay, hold on. So Chris, we need the PO to be made out to Oxford Computer Solutions, is that correct? Correct. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to Oxford Computer Solutions.
Second?
Let me finish first.
Eager beaver here.
He's
He's ready to get it, all right.
For,
Gotta get out of here.
$6,066.10 for the 5 Trilogy locks and the 50 key fobs.
Is it time? Second?
Mr. Updike?
Yeah.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Abstain.
Motion carried. Thank you.
All right. Number two, I completed, mailed off today, a U.S. Census paperwork. It was on if the last 5 years, well, actually the last 10 since the 2010 census, if the township had done any incorporation or any annexation. So we have not sent that back to the U.S. Census Bureau and sent that off today, part of their census records for the new
Was
census.
that- Did you notice that through an email, Jeff, or not? Because I've got an email in my inbox right now.
Yeah, it came in a hard copy. It came an actual
Yours
letter
came
from
in a
the
hard copy?
Census Bureau, yeah. So,
Okay.
yep. So I
right.
sent that back today and their official letter and all that stuff. Third, I talked to Jack Grove today, and I'll elaborate on some of that here in a moment, and then also in the fire side of it. Jack Grove has asked if he can receive by email the meeting minutes from each meeting to review the issues and be kept up to date on township business.
No problem.
And I did, I was waiting for somebody to ask, so I found out that will be no charge as he reviews those.
He wants just the hard copy. He doesn't want the disc.
Yeah, if once we get it in that form over there, we just scan it and email it right to him in that, in that electronic.
He can actually go on our website and pull it off there.
Okay.
Either one, whatever he wants. I mean,
He had asked to have it emailed to him.
I can do that.
So, okay.
I can do
And,
that.
okay. And it'll kind of explain a little bit more as well as we go through the rest. So, this afternoon, finally, got to speak after playing some telephone tag with Dr. Russo from Miami University. He's a professor of political science, about a summer intern program here for an undergraduate fellowship. So, because it was late in the afternoon and we ran a run, I have my notes here, so I don't have them as clean. So if you bear with me for a second. He can offer us a summer internship, which would be the undergrad fellowship program beginning in May. It would be either under our deciding if we want to go a 6-week program or a 12-week program. The intern usually works between 25 and 30 hours a week. It all depends on that. This program, the summer program, has a dollar for dollar match. So if we say, whatever our summer rate is $13 an hour, then they match it with $13 themselves. He said because Miami University no longer does credit hours for free. The student has to pay for the credit hours. So this kind of is paying back that student for paying for that credit hour, those credited hours. So it'd be a dollar for dollar match, whatever we decide on a fixed rate, then they would match that back to them. It's possible that we could move towards a public leadership program, which would be actually cleaning up some of the policies and things like that to an even bigger extent if we get into that and identify the stuff, which would be $1 for us to a $2 from the university. So we'd pay an X amount of dollars into it, and they would double that and pay their share into it. Okay.
Would they be on the fire side or strictly admin or EMS side? What would they do?
My idea is to have them come in here originally in the admin and take the 2007 employee manual for the township and clean that up and clean some of the other admin stuff that has just been lagging for so many years. And then also, we talked about today of taking a lot of the fire department policies like social media and then integrating them into a township policy, which is going to kind of mirror some of the stuff that they've already done, which you saw those books up at the OTA, the township, which would kind of get the township into where we at in those township laws and policies and procedures. And that's what would be the project that we probably lead him first to. However, he was very excited to realize that he could bring an intern and an undergrad in here that would be able to collaborate with an administrator, a fiscal officer, a roads supervisor, 3 trustees, a zoning administrator, have all that was just outstanding because usually they go in and only work with one entity, like just the administrator, just the fiscal. He says if this would round that undergrad into an amazing, that we could get a lot of stuff. Connie may have some stuff. You may be able to help Dale with some of his stuff to actually use him as an intern throughout the entire administration of the township with all facets. So that's the summer program. And then it could lead to a winter program when school starts back in the winter session, which would actually be an internship at no cost to the township. So if we identify a new project, let's identify a new project of, I don't know, updating some other policies or procedures, whatever we decide. The winter project, because school is back in session, would be a free to the township. This winter session would be free. The only thing in summer is because they're not in school, it's a match of dollar to dollar because they're having to pay for those summer credits.
Would it be possible to get the same person?
I don't know. He
It'd be
said
nice
he's.
If we could start them in the summer, get the legwork done, and then bring them back in the winter to actually put the policies.
Would be
together.
great. It's an undergrad fellowship, so I don't know how that
Yeah.
totally works
It'd
out.
probably be kind of a mutual agreement if we wanted them and they wanted to come back. If the chemistry worked out, then typically the way they would like to stack that.
He was ecstatic that we had come and offered this to them to give them a vast variation of township government for their political science, and then to help us as well as get them, as I said earlier, just working with so many different entities within our township. Fiscal is obviously different than fire, different than zoning. Or the three trustees you may have them come to a meeting one night and say the three trustees, well, what about creating a policy or a procedure for this or something like that? They may actually be well versed in working with us with the Riley and the Morgan collaborative, so who knows? There could be there's a lot of, I know when he provided, and there's still GIS interns to this day at EMA, they get 2 each semester there. And they have done an incredible amount of work at the EMA on GIS projects, so.
Can we use that to update some of our culvert stuff out of written to the files to help you? Would that be a possibility? Or think about it and look what you got, but that's always a possibility too.
And another possibility is we could actually see about getting a GIS intern in here and starting to grid some culverts, some road sections Rob has in the next 5 years to pave, things like that as well. So it's a great program. I'll go back and do like I said, I didn't have time this afternoon. He called me about 3 this afternoon. I can go back and run some rough hourly wage numbers by the 30 hours a week, by a 6-week program, by a 12-week program to give you some preliminary numbers to then say, here we go. But like you said, if we get the same person, we move into the winter term, then it's free to the township because school session is back in. And then every time there's school session in, each one of those semesters, we would get a free intern. The spring semester and the fall semester would all be, but he's already got people finished for the spring and fall of this year, or the spring of this year. So the start would be the May for a summer, which they're not in school, so.
I would love to be able to use them in a community relationship between zoning and the community in some form or fashion in terms of helping the community understand why zoning is important and how we can better communicate that.
That's a great idea. His idea is to start off by taking the township books that you've ordered, Connie, the township books that we saw up at the OTA, taking that and see where Morgan is with some of those and where Morgan's not with some of those, and then say, okay, you need to clean this up or you need to do this in a policy. Take that book and mirror it to what we have and what we don't have, and then start that process. So we are right down the middle on that book.
Right there.
We
Yep.
got policies everywhere.
So
I got policies on my computer, he's got policies on, but they're not, we need to put them all together, need to update them, some of them are from the 90s.
Yep.
And some of them don't exist.
So I think for the township, it's a win-win, and I think if we continue to then roll this into each semester and getting interns in here, I know Jeff, for there'll be a point when, I don't think we saw the same 2 interns any semester in GIS, maybe once or twice. But if we get somebody in an undergrad that's continuing to work towards his master's, bachelor, whatever, that person may be willing to come back over and again and all that, the relationship. But on the same time, if they can leave a package where the next intern can take right from there in the next semester, But if we get into the winter semester and then put in our name in the hat every semester school's in, that'll be a free internship for that 6 to 12 weeks as we continue to roll through the years, so. So I will come back in the next one and kind of figure some salaries, but I need to just talk to Phil and say, yes, the trustees, I'm assuming the trustees are on board with this. Okay, I will throw that, they're in board. He's going to go to his higher-ups, and he's going to also pull some of the people that, he's trying to get somebody that's in the undergrad program that kind of lives in this area, down in the Morgan, Ross area here that would be close to it. And I said, we will provide them an office and, you know, everything like that, and give them all the time that they would like, so.
Jeff,
Okay,
could you
yes.
ask him if the students are typically paid as part of payroll or on kind of like a contract basis, the way Carol is paid? Because that will make a difference. If we're gonna put them on payroll, then we got benefits, then they're gonna have to go into OPERS.
I will find out. I don't think
Okay.
they would do that for summer internship. It's probably just a W-9 and, you know, and you
Okay.
pay your own taxes and all that. I
Right.
think that's kind of, and all it is it's recouping that credit he has to pay for a summer
Okay.
class when school's not in, so.
So that's something we need
Yep,
to know.
I'll find out. Yep, okay. Any admin questions? That was the administer part. All right, so we're going to go to the fire. So number one is I need a motion for firefighter EMT Michael Flavin to move to the classification of firefighter paramedic effective 2/25 of 18 at a raise of $2 an hour to $15.80 an hour. Michael Flavin went through the Butler Tech paramedic program. He passed his national registry. And then last week with Lieutenant Galloway, the EMS coordinator, he passed all of the protocols and the mega codes and everything that we require for him to start running as a paramedic with the township. And he is a resident, lives on South Dwyer. So we've added another medic and a local resident.
Second.
So,
Mr. Rucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion carried.
23-2018.
remember that, please, Jeff. Thank you. Say that again, Carol. Okay. Number two, accept the resignation of firefighter EMT Jeremy Whitty effective 1/26 of 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Could I ask why he resigned?
We're assuming because his brother resigned?
Gave no reason,
He gave no reason.
gave no 2 weeks notice, he handed me a letter and walked out at 5:45 PM on his last.
No 2-week notice. He left with a letter 15 minutes before his last unit day. So we're only going to assume that his brother resigned and he went with him. So,
Is there, do you expect any other shoes to drop?
I do not. I think that is the last of
All right.
that era, I believe. And the other thing is, and Tom can contest to this, is he had some issues about not getting enough time because he's a PRN and not a unit day assignment. I literally bent over backwards to give the guy time, but he's not a paramedic, and two, he's not an officer. So his areas were limited. He signed up to take the lieutenant's test and never showed up the day of the test. So when he's limited to a very small spot, but then he would put a few days in and he'd complain, I'm like, and I CC Tom on it, I said, hey, there's 156 other hours left in the month to work, but they're Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that was not, it's one of the guys that wants his cake and eat it too, and people have to work around schedules if they want to work and be paid. So apparently that was his other issue, but we're going to pretty much go on that since his brother resigned, that's why he left as well, so.
Do you need the number on that one?
Sure. Oops.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion carried.
24-2018.
Thank you. Okay, number three, Athlete Chief, if you would like to hand out the show and tell. So Engine 142 came back from Vogelpool on Friday. And this is one of 14 valves where the brass was completely cracked from being left outside in the cold. Vogelpool pump tested it, and it passed its pump test. Yesterday, we brought it down here. We reloaded the hose. We refilled it with water. They did some more pumping and some further testing with it, and we put it back in service yesterday. With that being said, I talked to Jack Grove today about the, what should we do? Should we pay Rush? Should we pay Rush the entire bill of $2,960.50, or should we take out the deductible that Highland took out on us of $1,000? And he said, you can't, he said, in legally you can't do that, but you need to call Highland's claim adjuster to see what they want to do. So I called Highland's claim adjuster this afternoon and talked to him, and he said, nope, he said, pay the whole bill, and then they will add that deductible back into what they're going after their insurance company for, and then once they get that pay, they will reimburse us back the $1,000 of our deductible. So with that being said, I need a motion to pay Rush Internet. I hate to even make this motion, but it is what it is. I need a motion to pay Rush International $2,960.50 for repairs done to engine 142.
So moved.
Okay, wait a minute. The invoice is from Rush Truck Center, Cincinnati.
Okay.
So, well, I guess it's Cincinnati International there.
So just to make clear on my end here, Chief, this was the truck, as you just showed, that had all the damage, and we're going out for $2,900, and we're going to get $1,000 back as a deductible.
Possibly.
Possibly.
So the
So,
insurance
so when we took the engine down to Rush, the work that they did on it was this bill here. When they did all the damage to the valves, we had to send it to Vogelpool to get all the damage done, the $14,114 damage. So when Highland Insurance sent us our checks to pay Vogelpool for that, they sent all the money minus $1,000 of our deductible. So Vogelpool, or I'm sorry, Highland Insurance says pay the $2,900 to Rush, because now our insurance, Highland's going to go after Rush International's insurance to reimburse them for the whole claim. And they're going to tack on to what they paid us $1,000 back, and when they get that, they're going to reimburse us back our $1,000 of the deductible back from what Highland paid us. The $2,900 is exactly what the bill was to Rush.
So in the end.
And they said you can't short them, legally you cannot short them, because they did do work on the engine. The damage to it is another claim. The engine work they did, you have to pay them that. They did that work. So
Which makes perfect sense. It's two different issues.
it is.
And the first work was done correctly and satisfactorily to your
Yep.
desire.
We hope.
We hope.
Okay.
We hope. That's been the biggest lemon and elephant that this township's bought and owned, but for now we hope. So, yep.
Just so it's, the vendor name is correct.
You want me to re-say it? I got to get my copy in front of me. Okay.
Make a motion to approve payment to Rush Truck Center, Cincinnati International, for repairs on engine 142 in the amount of $2,960.50.
Okay, I'll second that, and I'll also revoke what I said earlier.
Okay,
So moved.
okay. Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Now, do you need?
Motion
you need,
carried.
PO or something to pay Highland the $1,000?
They haven't billed us yet, have they?
Vogelpool hasn't billed us yet.
So we're gonna pay it.
We're going to get that. In fact, we're going to get a little bit extra, more than the $1,000 deductible, because they actually used a couple more pieces and parts. But Highland said today, whatever the difference is, send that to them. They've already deducted $1,000 out of the checks to Vogelpool, so they'll pay the difference of all that.
That'll be made payable to Vogelpool.
Yep. So we're going to end up having to pay the other $1,000 to Vogelpool, and then if they reclaim the $1,000 from Rush, then we've made our money. We've kind of been a wash. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Okay, number 4, just to let you know, since we don't meet for a couple of weeks, Tom, you signed that paperwork. I was accepted to the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. the week of March 4th through the 10th to take all hazard air operations supervisors and branch director class. That pretty much is just working with air operations during a natural disaster, flood, search and rescues, rescue missions, all that kind of stuff. The only cost of the township is the food ticket, the meal ticket. Other than that, the feds, FEMA pays for the room. You board on campus, they pay for the room. They pay a stipend to drive they pay a stipend for me, and then they also pay the mileage, the 54 cents or whatever for the vehicle to drive up and back, because we chose not to fly, because they'll pay your flight, but the problem is that usually class gets out Fridays at noon, but you can't fly out till Saturday at noon. So you just sit there for a day and you're stuck. So normally to go to Emmitsburg is about an 8-hour drive, and we just drive. So just to let you know that I'll be out of town that week.
Who else is going?
Actually, 3 other people from our state incident management team are going as well. So
Okay, don't go over McDonald's, you'll be fine.
what's that?
Don't
Oh
go
yeah.
anywhere else
Well,
but
the
McDonald's.
feds force you to buy a meal ticket there because of the kitchen, so it was $143.50, I think, for the whole week of meals there. So yeah. One last thing that's not on here, I forgot. So keep on your calendar if you would like, and you're invited. March 15th, we are hosting the Butler County Fire Chiefs Association meeting here. March 15th. The food's at 6 o'clock, and the meeting starts at 7. So we're going to have it in here. Yeah, we had it here the last time, and we'll have it here. So
Thursday night?
that's a Thursday night. Yep. And Lieutenant Galloway, our public education coordinator, is working on having Velvet Smoke catered again, like we did 2 years ago. So it's good. Trustees usually do show up to the meeting, and we introduce them at the beginning, and you're welcome to stay, or it's like how can I say it? It's like comedy club night. So the fire chiefs are a lot more funnier than going to a police chiefs meeting, I can tell you that. So it's pretty entertaining, actually.
Anybody gonna be dressed like a leprechaun?
Dinner's at 6, meeting starts at 7. So I'm sorry, Tom. You're
Anybody gonna be dressed like a leprechaun?
I don't think we'll have a leprechaun again show up this time. Yeah, that is the 2-year anniversary.
Ides of March.
On that note, that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. No? All right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Reinhardt?
Okay, first item is this resolution for the Butler County Solid Waste Management Plan. I printed it out today with our name in the appropriate spots, so whoever wants to do this, here is the resolution to be read.
Number 26.
Thank you.
All right, a resolution approving the 2018 Butler County Solid Waste Management Plan. Whereas pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 3734 Ohio Revised Code, the Act, the Butler County Solid Waste Management District Policy Committee, the Policy Committee, has adopted the 15-year Butler County Solid Waste Management Plan Update 2018 through 2032 for the Butler County Solid Waste Management District, the district. And whereas pursuant to the Act, all political subdivisions within the district must approve or disapprove the proposed plan by ordinance or resolution. And whereas successful ratification requires approval of the proposed solid waste management plan by political subdivisions representing at least 60% of the district's population. And whereas the district has provided a compact disc and executive summary of the draft solid waste management plan for ratification to each of the legislative authorities of the district. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Morgan Township must decide whether it approves of the said solid waste management plan within 90 days of receipt of the draft plan. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Morgan Township has reviewed the plan and has determined that the Butler County Solid Waste Management Plan is in the best interest of its constituents and the citizens of Butler County. Whereas the plan, includes a detailed budget outlining revenues and operational cost, and continues the provision of a solid waste generation fee to the fund of the plan. The generation fee is assessed on all waste generated in Butler County and tipped in Ohio landfills. And whereas the solid waste generation fee is scheduled to increase from 82 cents per ton to $1 per ton effective January 1st, 2020, and such fee remains among the lowest in the state of Ohio and will support implementation of programs and services specified in the 2018 Solid Waste Management Plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Morgan Township Trustees, 1, Morgan Township in Butler County, Ohio, approves or disapproves, Circle 1, the 2018 Butler County Solid Waste District Management Plan. 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of the Board of Morgan Township Trustees concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution ordinance, where adopted in an open meeting of the Board of Morgan Township Trustees and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions wherein meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including sections 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. And 3, the fiscal officer is hereby directed to send the district a copy of this resolution to the attention of Ann Fear Flag, District Coordinator, Butler County Recycling and Solid Waste District, 130 High Street, Hamilton, Ohio, 45011. Adopted at a regularly scheduled meeting, the Board of Morgan Township Trustees, this, the 20th day of February, 2018.
Second.
So we have to approve or disapprove.
Yeah, so,
Say
I make a
approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Brucker,
Yes.
Mr. Updike,
Yes.
Mr. Kolb.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, you want,
I will take care of that.
do you need to sign it since he's the chair?
No, I don't think so. I'm just gonna record your votes.
Okay. All right.
I've given you, my noisy mic back on here. I've given you each a copy of the grassroots clippings that I get from the Ohio Township Association. It does have on the front page in the lower left-hand corner, the website you can go to if you're interested in going to the local government officials conference in March in Columbus. They do have 2 days worth of classes. I will be going for classes on Thursday and Friday, and I think I get like 10.5 CEUs, and I'm also going to go and take the public records training class on Wednesday afternoon. So I will be staying Wednesday and Thursday night in Columbus, and that will be an additional, I forget how many CEUs the public records is, but so I'll have at least 12, 13, so that I keep up with my Fiscal Integrity Act and have everything that I need. Okay, we kind of tabled this at the last meeting. The Water District has sent us, or told us we could have 2 complimentary tickets. Mr. Kolb has expressed interest in having one. Is anyone else interested in going? It's on March 24th. No, I'm not interested, so,
We have one Morgan Township resident who's running for the office, so it's a good thing to
Right.
have representation.
okay, so is it all right then if we just let Mr. Kolb have both tickets since no one else is interested in going?
That's fine with that.
Okay, then I'm gonna give this to Jeff. If you wanna call them and, tell them that it's, you're using our complimentary tickets and you'll have to give them your dinner choices.
Okay.
Okay? Just a reminder that the Butler County Township Association meeting in Westchester is on March 8th. I'm assuming you all received in the mail the same packet that I did with your RSVP.
I sent that in.
Okay, so just, they want RSVPs by March 5th, and this is the annual meeting with the health department, so it's a very well-attended meeting, and it'll be a long meeting, but, just to remind everybody to do their RSVP. And last, this came in after I had already done my fiscal officer report. I got an email, and we do have our certificate now from the Ohio DAS, our Cooperative Purchasing Program. So we are good to go. They've got my name wrong, but we'll get that corrected. It's not a big deal, but we are valid now through February 1st of 2019.
Okay.
So, Rob, if you need, anything for state bids, we have our certificate now.
Now, does it have a number or something?
Yeah, it has a membership number up here at the top, and I'll make a copy and stick this in your mailbox so you have this too, okay? And I think that was all I had.
Okay, Mr. Cole,
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Brocker.
I already talked about the letters that were sent out about zoning. The only other thing I'd like to, and he's not here. I'll tell him. I'll just put it on record that I'm requesting that we're gonna have more zoning meetings, and the zoning meetings, minutes, we wanna publish on the website in addition to our trustee meetings minutes, just so. Yes. And we also, I created a new policy, it's called the Morgan Township Meeting Notification Policy. The purpose of it is to address how the public is notified about township meetings. Morgan Township's required to notify the public as to the date, time, and location of all meetings. So the policy, Morgan Township will inform the public as to the date, time, and location of all township meetings, that's trustee, zoning, workshop, etc., using the township website, that's www.morgantownship.org. All meetings will be listed on the calendar, which is located on the left side of the township homepage. Any changes to an already scheduled meeting will be highlighted in red on the homepage. This will take effect immediately, and we will no longer advertise any in the Hamilton Journal, because we felt that nobody reads the paper anyway, and this is a better avenue of letting the public know. So,
And they've changed that rule where you don't have to put it in the paper anymore. That is a suitable solution.
need a second.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, Rob had informed me that a Tina Phelps there on Alert New London had called, and that being a county road, she had water that's washing out. I met with her Saturday. I don't think the area where she's talking about the ditch is in the county's right of way. I do not know for sure. Have you heard back from them yet today? Because they were supposed to meet with her today. I have a feeling it's probably gonna be on her dime to fix that, because it's on the private property, but I did meet with her. Also met with the, Kathy Kirby on the Alert New London, which Dale talked about earlier. And then also the EMA meetings, which 4 times a year that we moved it to 4. We are now gonna do the EMA meetings at 4 o'clock, so now all of our meetings will be at 7. So I will be going to that one first and then come to here. So we will be back to the regular schedule throughout 7 o'clock in our meetings.
And that's already been adjusted on the calendar.
So it's adjusted on the website. The work session we had with Riley earlier, I think that's heading in the right direction. We're talking about us working together, kind of unison to do double chip seal or chip seal on the roads. In other words, we will work together and kind of share equipment in doing it, which I see as a large savings to the township as well. Might be a little learning curve on getting it down to doing the roads exactly the way we want, but I think we will get there. I think we got a good crew to do that. The other thing I wanted to bring up too, I'll go back to the bed and the roller. I would like to see us probably go ahead and do that steel bed, because I think we'll never wear the steel bed out before we get rid of the truck instead of the stainless, which was about a $2,000 difference. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, and I'd almost like to move forward on that roller, because we're gonna need that. The road budget, we didn't spend as much as we wanted to, or what we normally do this year. It's usually we're between 80 and 140 or even higher. We've only vouched, what, 39,000 for that. So if you did this truck bed and the roller, that's only another 30, so we're only looking about 70,000. And that's gonna give us the ability to do that, a lot more of that road maintenance ourselves, having the roller. And for the price difference of about $3,000 of a new one on the roller, as opposed to how old were them? 14 years old, 15 years old?
Well, yeah, something like that.
I think
that
the
the-
$3,000 in the warranty and everything else is probably worth it, and then we'll have it as way they take care of it till
I think the
we're all
newest,
probably gone.
the newest one that I looked at as far as used one was a 2002 or 3.
And they were what, 15,000 or 12,000?
12,000.
12,000?
And new one's 15.
New one's
New one's
15.
15.
That's on, now that is not through the DASS, that is through that flyer that you gave me in Columbus, Jeff.
At NPF something or
In,
other. the
in
National
MJB
Purchasing.
or whatever, we have, that does not cost us anything, but I do have to go online and sign up for that because the particular roller that we're looking at is not on state bid, but is on that, national bid. Because that particular contract or that particular unit is not, they was not able to, get a contract with the state, but it is a national contract, and it, from everybody I've talked to, that is the roller that you wanna have if you're gonna be buying a roller, so.
I thought we were going to go ahead and start the chip seal process this year with no additional equipment. I thought they said they could manage with what we have and not considering.
That's with,
This
that's
roller is for the
is-
blacktop.
that is with the chip seal. They're going to stick with the tar distributor that they have and with the rubber tired roller that you need to do the chip seal.
So you're gonna need the roller for cut and repair.
I'm gonna need to cut the roller for cut and repair,
Okay, and what did you say the cost of that was?
15,000. And
Okay.
the regular price is $20,500 is the regular price. So with the national discount is about $5,000 discounted off of that machine.
Okay.
And
So
that's-
let's talk the truck bed. I know we talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago, or last meeting, and we were gonna look at the budget. Now, so is our budget current from our financials as I'm looking at it tonight? And it looks like we have 200 in the general fund, we have $282,000 in the general fund.
No, we got 253 to go to the end. That's after she paid out, go to the other far end.
Balance pool, yeah. Just follow it all the way over, right there.
Okay. So we have $253 that is discretionary for that has not been committed or obligated as we know it anytime soon, correct?
That, the figure that's there is from the temporary appropriations that we did back in December. I have sent the certificate to the Butler County Auditor. The Budget Commission doesn't meet until Thursday, so I will receive the amended certificate back from them probably Monday or Tuesday next week. If my figures are correct and what I'm matching up, the general fund will have like $750-some thousand in it, but that's taking into account all of the taxes that we're gonna get through the year. That's not what we have on hand right now to use.
So
So-
it would be more, do you see it would be higher?
Yes.
Or less? Okay. So
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is I think if we wanted to go to a stainless steel bed, which I think for the life of the bed and the value, the increased value to the truck for an additional $2,000, we're well-funded to be able to support that. Now, is the value of the truck increased with having a stainless steel bed on? And if you gotta run that for the next 15 years, that's what this one lasted. This bed lasted 15 years? Okay.
Well, 17 years actually, so.
But that truck will be, what,
35 years.
30-some years old by the time we wear out that steel one.
Now, I personally, I think the truck will be worth more to sell with the stainless steel, but that's entirely up to you three or what you guys wanna do. You're the ones that have to answer to the public about spending the money, but I would rather see the stainless steel bed, but
If I was buying a new truck, I'd go stainless steel right out to start, no doubt. Being as old as it is, I don't see that you're gonna get that extra $3,000 value. And because of the age of the truck, I doubt we're gonna wear the bed out before we wear the truck out. And then, when you're buying a new one, you're best to go ahead and get a new one, because then you got difference this, that don't fit, it'll cost you more to reconfigure it to put it on another new truck than to just buy it new the way it works.
The only other option.
And we're only talking, what, 28 or 2900, somewhere in that ballpark.
You're saving $2,900, that's what you're saying.
Yep, I'd rather put that on the roller, and basically you got for the same price as you used when we just got the new one.
Okay.
That's my thought on it. If we get a new one, I'd say get a stainless steel bed.
What are y'all hauling at?
that's gonna be our Durapatching truck. That's gonna be the truck that's constantly got the limestone in it. It's gonna be our backup truck as far as snow and ice. Because right now, we're not using that truck in snow and ice. The only time that I'm gonna use that truck in snow and ice is if we have a big snowstorm and I need the third truck. And then I wanna make this known that there's a reason why I wanna keep this third truck is in case one of our others go down, we still have two big trucks. Cause we have a lot of, we haven't had it in quite some time. We haven't had a big snow this year. We've had some cold, this, that, but having big trucks and when you have the big snow drifts and stuff, that's another reason why I want the third truck is, and keeping that. But I do think this, well, let me finish that. When the big snow drifts and stuff, you have two trucks go out busting the roads that drifted shut while the other one keeps going to keep other roads open and clear, because if you have still have some minor drifting on some of the other roads, you have that going. I also have the option, I can pull somebody in to put in a 550 to go help out with intersections or something while we're doing that on them big snows. The other thing that I'm gonna say is, you can spec a new truck to where we could put that stainless steel body on a new truck. You can spec it to match up with that. So then in turn, you could save money when you
But
buy
it
a
may
new
be-
truck.
It may not be what we want moving forward.
Well, I mean,
It could be what we want moving forward too.
it could be.
could be.
I mean, I'm just saying that you could make it work, and that could just be more justification for going to stainless steel body. Because, and the reason why I'm saying this is, when this truck again is gonna be mainly used for our Durapatch, and we're hauling that limestone around, that is the only reason why that particular bed that's on that truck is in the shape it's in, because it hauled that limestone around. It's constantly got it in it through the summertime. The limestone is acidic to metal, from what I've been told by people, and that's the reason why it ate out so bad. Compared to our other trucks that we've had for 15 years, didn't have that bad of rust on them when we sold them. The 1992 that we sold, the 1997 that we sold, they was rusted, they was dinged, they was scratched, but they wasn't as in bad a shape as what this one is. And again, this truck is the one we do all of our Durapatching in, and have since 2001. It was brand new. We've always used it for using the Durapatcher. It's always got that limestone in the back. And my stainless steel body will hold up better. I'll never have to worry about it rusting out. Especially if we're gonna keep this truck as long as we have, or going, you know, I keep hearing this stuff about the emission stuff. Well, this truck's everybody says it's a great truck. Well, it looks like we're gonna have it for a good while, so why not have the better body on it? So,
I kind of side with Rob on that. The first load of limestone, it's gonna look like a.
I mean, it'll last more than the first load, but still.
Well, I know, but it's gonna be all beat up and scratched, so why paint it? I mean, I know painting it to protect it, but you're gonna tear the paint right off of it.
Right.
All the sides will be painted, but the inside will be gone.
Yeah.
Happens on all of them.
And I
If you guys wanna go that
I
way,
don't
we'll
think,
go that way.
I don't know what you'll get, you know, when you put it out for bid or sell it, but I still think that you'll get, maybe not all of the $3,000, but you'll get some of it back.
Now, I will say, while we still have this beat up body, we're hauling a whole bunch of concrete and big rock with it. Today and tomorrow we're gonna haul with it. So we're beating the hell out of this one while we've got it, so that way we don't do the new ones. Just for the record, so.
I personally would side for, or make a motion to go with the stainless, but I'll go with it, whatever you guys decide.
You want the stainless?
Want the stainless.
All right, one of you make a motion for the stainless.
I'll
We'll
make a
do it.
motion,
Here's
something.
the name of it, Beamers, right? And there's the price.
Okay. I'll make a motion for PO to Beamers for
It's Beamer's Piggyback Sales or something, isn't it?
That's correct.
Beamers Piggyback Sales for the stainless steel body at a cost of $11,913.75. Anybody want to second?
All right, I'll second it.
Mr. Brucker,
Yes.
Mr. Updike,
Yes.
Mr. Kolb.
Yes.
Motion carried.
So you want to make a motion on the roller?
Well, here's my question on the roller. How long do you think, once we put that in motion, it would take them to get it? Because I know some of the things we order take a while. I know you've got to do that paperwork.
He says he's got 5 of them on the lot right now.
And we'll probably be needing them in, what, month and a half?
Yeah.
So do you want to do the motion for it now and then finish the paperwork out as soon as we get it, then push it on through? Or do you want to fill the paperwork out and we come back at the next meeting, which ain't until, what's the date in March?
March 8th? No, March, yeah, March.
March
is it
13th.
13th?
13th.
Do you need that copy of that
Now, we're
proposal?
probably, yeah.
Should I get that before you go and do that? If so, then I need to go back in the back and get that, because I don't have that out here, right? Have it
Once you
back?
go get it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to wait till we're halfway in the summer before you get it and moving forward. Because I know it saved us a lot of money on Lehigh now when we did it. Jeff, when we were in Columbus, did you talk to any of those banks on the loans?
I talked to USDA, and we have yet to get up with USDA. Looked at some of the requirements, and I just haven't made a call to them yet.
Here's something I'd like to look at moving forward, maybe get a little more information on them, but I know we were looking at used possibly for the road things, if we was to do something like one of them, the gravel spreaders, and we did a 3-year loan, we're only paying so much per year, just, that way we got information looking forward. You know, cause I think what we're gonna save, we would make up in that loan.
So you have a community block grant out there that'll buy.
Or even
That's a
one of
loan.
those.
That's a community block grant is a loan, and then there are also some grants out there with match, 75 match.
Would that work on
Once-
the used equipment?
don't know if it's for use, I'd have to research that, but once you apply and get one of those, you're restricted from applying for another one for like 5 years. And I think that's gonna be the same for the USDA rural loan that we talked about, with the possibility for the addition to the station. So we can explore all that, we can explore for that, we're gonna explore for the addition to the station, as well as some other loan options, but whenever you go for a grant, whenever you go like for any of the fire grants, use a community block grant, once you get one, you're like, the BWC is another grant. So the Bureau of Workers' Comp grant that we got this, to the other striker stretching the 2 motorized carriers, I cannot apply for another one for 5 years because our budget's over $1 million. So I can't, so that's a wash for 5 more years. So there's a lot of ones out there that, if they are available, the board will need to really sit and look how if they're available with those restrictions, you need to really say, what is some of our projects? Because once we get this, then we're limited for another 5 years of going for that grant, or going for this grant. They're just not repeated every year. So, I mean, like I said, I'm beginning to contact USDA. Theirs is for small rural townships and all that are 20,000 population or less with a certain income, which I believe we'll make that. The community block grants is what Riley used to make the addition on their one fire station. That has that's only up to maybe 150 to 200,000. They have a limit of how much they'll give to you, and you have to pay the rest. That I'm almost positive has a absolute can't apply again for 5 years or something. So we'll reach out and get all the facts on it, which is what I'm doing right now, kind of the addition for Rob's stuff or whatever like that. It's just that I would caution the board to say, don't just jump on it, because once you jump on it and you get that, you've got to cut yourself off for 5 more years. So, just FYI.
But I agree with you.
And I'll tell you an example right now is the AFG grant that I applied for this year for the rest of our air packs. That grant, that's a federal grant. That is up. Well, they'll start announcing for the 17 grant in June. July, they're going to open up the 18 AFG grant. The Butler County Fire Chiefs have talked about using that grant to buy all the new radios for us, so we don't have to spend it. But only, even though it's a collaboration of the whole county, one entity has to write it. So if I write it and we get it, I can't use another AFG grant for 5 years. So every fire chief's like, hey, I want the radios, but I'm not the one wanting to sponsor it and sign it. Because you're gonna be penalized for 5 years, so yeah, it comes with some catches. But yes, we can explore, like I've been doing some research already on the station edition. We can explore both of them for some stuff for Robin infrastructure show.
You said some of them were like 75, 25, in other
Some
words,
are 75, 25.
we would pay 25 or the 75?
We pay the 25, the feds pay 75. The BWCs were 90-10, we paid 10. The BWC paid 90 of that grant.
Well, if we was to buy a new one of those, it's almost 200,000, that'd be worth it.
It would be worth it. We can look into the community block grant for it.
And we might be able to get it just because we're collaborating in the use of it.
That helps when you write it. If you write it and you say that you're partnering and collaborating with other townships, is like one of the main bonus points you get when they are reviewed by the feds.
Who writes it? Our township administrator writes it?
What's that?
You said if you write it, I said, who, our township administrator?
Hey, he's the guru over there.
So, but
But
there's possibilities. I mean, there's possibilities. It's like I said, just once you do get it and all that, then you kind of can't go for them again for 5 years usually.
No, but if you got that machine, that would
We can attempt it.
be worth it. All right,
Want to go with this?
yeah, Rob, you got that?
Yep. You want to read it? You want me to read it?
Go ahead.
All right. Make a motion for a PO to Southeastern Equipment Company for a Bomag BW900-50 tandem vibratory roller with the NJPA discount of 28.5% for a total cost of $15,309.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion carried.
If there's nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Yes?
We are adjourned.